Hey, what's up guys? Tom No from Atomic Enrollment. Welcome in. So today we're gonna go over the process of how we go about training our sales reps, whether they're our internal reps or whether we're training our client's existing sales team and reps, or whether we're bringing in new recruits into the client's business and then training them up as well. So this is the process we stick to. So the best athletes on earth, NFL players, NBA players, they're watching yesterday's game and analyzing and breaking them down. They're running data analytics. They have multiple people, coaches watching the recordings. Team players are watching the recordings. So if the top athletes on the face of this planet is continually striving to get better, that's the same approach salespeople should have. All these athletes are naturally gifted with God-given genes. Some salespeople are gifted with God-given sales abilities, but if it's not constantly honed and sharpened, you lose it. So that's why sales training is very important, even for the best reps. The best reps actually will go out of their way to get the training themselves. So we have a 10-step process for training reps. First and foremost, we review call recordings. It's the best way to give actionable feedback. Instead of guessing or feeling, you're just watching call recordings and then giving feedback. So for example here, we're in Slack channels with our reps. They're asking us questions, we're checking in with them. They drop call recordings, Zoom call recordings. They give us a little bit of notes, but we watch it through and through daily. And then we're giving specific feedback at specific points for them to improve upon. So that's the best way to start. The next is we're optimizing sales scripts and objection handlers. We don't believe in sales scripts per se, but we believe in sales outlines. So for example, we give them a script, a framework. People just need a framework or else they're gonna feel like they're winging it. There's a good proper structure. It's some version of building rapport, framing them, telling them how the call is gonna go, where they are in control of the conversation, identifying pain, showing the vision, getting their commitment, doing the pitch, and ultimately driving towards the call, driving towards the close, if not a very actionable follow-up that they both align upon. So we have a script for the call itself. We have a script for tri-edge calls. So if you're calling them unexpectedly, we have scripts of how to engage with the prospect. We have objection handlers, frequently asked questions and how to answer it. We build a cheat sheet that reps can draw from, like here. 3, we teach them sales farming, basically engaging with past leads in the database. Usually with new reps coming in, we typically do this more aggressively so they can practice and get the reps in for past leads and they're not practicing on fresh leads the company's paying for. So engaging past leads with email, phone, text, social media to either sell them into some type of low ticket opportunity or get them back on the calendar for a sales conversation. 4, role play. We do role play and mock sales calls. So it's very important. It's a great way for the rep to practice, especially a new rep coming to a business. It's a great way for them to practice, but also you get a sense of how good they currently are as well. 5, teaching them value-driven follow-up. Most people's follow-up process is very selfish. Some version of, hey, I'm checking in. Are you ready to give me money? That's very selfish. So we teach value-driven follow-up. Every time you touch base with a potential client, you're giving them value. So it goes into 6, which is building a vault where they could pull value-driven follow-up from. So for example, we call it a sales vault. So if there's any type of past press, like a client has got, right? If they've written books, if they've been on national media, like here, case studies, testimonials to draw from, right? It's literally a Google Drive and Google Docs the rep can pull from to use in their value-driven follow-up. Because from the moment the sales call is over, interest level starts waning, and every interaction you have with a prospect going forward, you should bump that excitement up by giving them some value, proof, testimonials, case studies, just driving that excitement up instead of saying, hey, I'm just checking in, are you ready to give me money? 7, we brainstorm answers to objections. We brainstorm points where the rep got blocked and stuck in yesterday's call. So reps will come to us either on Slack or on a call, in a morning stand-up call, and they'll be like, hey, I got stuck in this part. Will be some good answers going forward. 8, we do a monthly group sales training session with all our reps. It's a great way for the reps to kind of network, but also hear other reps' struggles so they can learn from each other. It's a good bonding experience, but also we do training and teaching to the reps as well. 9, we install a KPI report like this, something very simple. KPI tracker, Google Sheet is the best way. There are some CRMs that you can build in the dashboard as well, but if you can't do that, just do a simple Google Sheet like this where you're tracking the reps' output and activity. And the pipeline, typically you could track in the CRM. Last but not least, They could troubleshoot with us real time. They could call us, text us, Slack us if they get stuck on specific points, or if they have ideas they want to run by us and brainstorm with. And also, more importantly, sales is an energy a game, so we're their morale support daily. It's very important the energy levels and the morale of the sales reps are high. Now, that's the general flow of how we do sales training. For a new rep, where we bring into the business, we put them through a 3-day intensive training with us. So the first day is basically teaching and giving them a deep understanding of the client, the ideal avatar, the offer, the sales process. They're reviewing testimonials, case studies, learning more about the company. They're listening to past call recordings. We'll typically build out a sales script, sales framework, and objection handling cheat sheet. And we're sharing that with the rep where they could do some light practicing with us. Day 2, we're going over building good practices, and that typically looks like tracking activity daily, because what gets measured gets done and optimized. So showing them the process and the tools to track activity, that's all based in the CRM. The most important part about day 2 is we teach them sales farming, engaging those past leads to turn dead leads into opportunities where you bring them back into the conversation and on your calendar, so they're not practicing getting their reps in on fresh leads the client is paying for. And then we do a lot of role play that second day, where they practicing the script with us, and we're giving them feedback right on the spot. Day 3, we put them through some sales training videos, and they're learning value-driven follow-up. So we build the sales vault for them, as I showed you before, and we're showing them how to do value-driven follow-up. So before a call happens, what type of value are they sent? There's a pre-call action to take, and we're teaching them what type of content to send people prior to the call happening, what type of content to send after the call happens, when do you follow up with what. So we're teaching them value-driven follow-up, very important. They're continuing to go sales farm and revive some of those past leads and get some calls going. We're doing more role play, and then if they got their first couple calls in, we're reviewing those call recordings and giving them feedback on the spot as well. So that's the 3-day training. And then day to day, we're managing them as well. What that typically looks like is we do a daily morning stand-up, typically around 9 a.m., depending on the rep schedule, what time zone they're in. In this morning stand-up, we're brainstorming answers to yesterday's objections, points they got stuck yesterday. We're brainstorming how to break through those in today's conversations. We're discussing what went well and repeating successful actions, because salespeople typically get the shiny object syndrome, so they forget what made them close and be successful and they're trying something else. We prevent that by reinforcing what went well, making sure they repeat those actions, and more importantly, showing them and discovering what went well, because some sales reps don't know what actually they did well to close that deal. So we point that out for them. We also point out what didn't go well, what they could have done better by reviewing those call recordings. We're reviewing those multiple call recordings daily, giving them feedback. Be like, at this point in the conversation, you should have said this or pivoted to this. So we're giving feedback on call recordings. At times we hold a training session, teaching them some tactic or lesson on sales. Or last but not least, we're doing live role play with them in this morning stand-up. So these are some of the things. We'll do either one of these or 2 of these in the morning and switch it up daily. Whatever will be most helpful for that day, we're doing. Then throughout the day, they get access to us real time. They can ping us, they can Slack us, message us with any questions, brainstorming answers, follow up, any type of questions they have. And then we're making sure the daily activity is tracked as like some type of sheet here. Daily activity is tracked. We're making sure they're inputting their activity, as well as we're reviewing those activities to see trend lines and see, is the trend line going up or down? If it's going up, let's figure out what's going well and pump that. If it's going down, let's figure out why it's going down and bring it up. So daily activities, the rep and us engage in is the output tracker. We're reviewing notes, call recording notes, reviewing any notes that the rep has put for specific leads. And we make sure if they haven't already, they're sharing and dropping those Zoom recordings, call recordings, so we can review them and give them feedback and iterate on. So that's what the daily management process looks like. You guys need to implement some type of process like this. If you don't have, and you're working with at least 1 sales rep, if you have 2 sales rep, this is a must-have. Even if you have 1 sales rep, this is very important, because remember, sales is a game of energy, and salespeople's morales need to be uplifted and they need to be trained and sharpened day to day. So it's very important. You as the business owner, the executives, support that and support the sales team, even if it's 1 rep that you currently have. So there you have it.